Hey warrior, what does it mean to have commitment in your business? And what are those key components to commitment? We're going to talk about that on today's video. So the first question that I have for you is, what is commitment? What does commitment mean to you? Because this is so important and it leads back to last month's theme, which was clarity. So it's important that you get clarity around commitment as well. Clarity around what commitment means to you in your business and your life. So the first question I'm going to ask you around that is, first and foremost, what is your number one goal in your business this year? I want you to get that in your mind. Think about that. What's your number one goal in your business this year? And then once you've thought of that, I'm going to ask you another question, and that is that goal possible? And do you believe that goal is possible? Hopefully your answer is yes. If you set that goal, hopefully your answer is yes. Now the next question becomes, if you know that it's possible and you believe that it's possible, do you feel that it's probable for you? Okay, and this is one that can really stump people because they believe that it's possible because they know somebody else has achieved it in their business. And that's typically what tells us that it's possible. We talk about Roger Bannister and the 4-minute mile. He's kind of the litmus test that we often measure goals up to, possibility versus probability. As far as we know, he was the first person to break the 4-minute mile. And right after he broke it, I think it was like 6 other people, boom, 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 kind of, hit that goal as well. So he did it. That told everybody else out there that it was possible, because if one person did it, then others could do it too. Then the next question for you is it probable? So whatever your goal is it possible? Is it probable? And hopefully the answer is yes. Now, either way, whether you think it's probable or not, the thought that you ideally want to be having around that goal is, if it's possible and somebody else has done it, then I will figure it out. I will figure out what I have to do and what has to be done to achieve that goal. That is the definition of commitment. The challenge that we have is we set these goals so often and then we say we're committed to them, but our calendar reflects something totally different. Our calendar reflects our actions most specifically. So the actions that we've taken to achieve this goal reflect something different than the commitment that we're saying that we have to it, right? Does that make sense? So that really is it. When you have that thought, I will figure out what it takes to achieve my goal. And even adding to that, I will figure out and do whatever it takes to achieve my goal, assuming that it's ethical and legal, of course. But that is truly what commitment is. So when you say that to yourself, I'm willing and I'm committed to doing whatever has to be done to figure out how to achieve my goal, how does that thought feel to you? How does it resonate with you? And then the next question is, what action or action steps have to be taken, have to happen in order for me to achieve that goal? Okay, for me to have those results. So that's what we want to start with. So the key components to commitment really truly start with that. What is your goal? How possible and probable do you feel that that goal is? And then what's your thought around that? And the thought that indicates that you're truly committed is, I will do whatever it takes to figure out how to achieve that goal. And I will figure out and I will master achieving that goal. So you can look around at your current circumstances, your current situation, and that will tell you how committed you are currently to whatever goal it is that you're living. Your results and what's around you is the result of your current level of commitment. Now, I'm going to give us all some grace here and say it could be your past level of commitment, because it could be that you've changed that thought process, you've changed that commitment level, but you just haven't quite reached the goal yet, of course, because there has to be some time frame that passes where we have set the goal, have the thoughts, experience the feelings, and then take the actions to actually create the goal. So look around you and say, this is what I've in the past been committed to, and that's a result of it. And you can do this in all areas of your life. And you know me, I'm my five favorite F words, my 5 buckets: my faith, my family and friends, my fun, my fitness, and my finance. Those are the 5 areas that are my values, my highest priorities, and everything else that I do falls under those. I love to travel. I love to entertain. That falls under fun. That also falls under family and friends because they're usually involved in those. I love working my business and I love being able to contribute in ways. Well, that falls under finance, and it falls under fitness as well, because fitness is not just about physical health and well-being. It's fitness mentally, it's fitness in my finances, it's fitness in my relationships. There's a lot of things that fall under that. So you have to simply look around your life, your world, and decide what your true level of committed is. Now, I love the Yoda expression when he's training Yoda from Star Wars, when he's training Luke. And he basically said, I think Luke says, I'll try or something. And he says, there is no try. There's either do or do not. And that really is it with commitment. We can't really be kind of committed because that doesn't really pay off long-term in our life. So when I look around at my 5 values and I look at faith, can I be kind of committed to faith? And faith is a lot of different things. It's my spirituality. It's my faith and belief in myself. It encompasses a lot of different things. So when I break down those 5 values for you and I lay them out and you really get a feel for how I've incorporated all of those into every aspect of my life, you understand it better. But you know that I can't just be kind of committed to my faith. I can't just be kind of committed to my faith and then have the expectation that I'm going to get the result to achieve that goal that it is that I really want. So you have to make a decision and you have to go all in on your commitment. So I don't know what your priorities and values are. I don't know what your 5 buckets are, like mine: faith, family and friends, fun, fitness, and finance. And they're not necessarily in a specific order. And I always say that because they mostly are. Finance being at the bottom, and yet at the same time, it doesn't really matter what order they are. They all 5 matter to me, and they all spin in a cycle that makes up the rest of everything else, even finance. So under finance, I put it at the bottom because at the end of the day, it's the least important from the money-making aspect of it. From, is my business more important than my family and friends and relationships? No, not across the board. However, there are certain days when I might prioritize my business activities at a higher level than a family, friend, or relationship. That doesn't mean that I value making money more, but for that day, the activities and the actions that I'm going to engage in, I'm going to say, I'm not going to lunch with friends today. Honey, it's not going to be date night today. Or I'm not going to spend the day with you, but I'll catch up with you tonight after I can check the box of doing the things in my business that are important to move myself forward, to move us forward as a family, whatever it is. So it's a big crazy wheel, but it's important that you get clarity, again, another one of those C's, around those different aspects of your life and your priorities and your values and your commitments. Because once you decide and once you get clarity around those, it makes it so much easier to really engage in my next C word, which is calendar. Because I say what's on the calendar gets done. If it's not on the calendar, potentially it won't get done. In my case, probably it won't get done. Possibly it will get done, but it has a lot higher chance of happening if it's on my calendar. So I get very clear on my commitments. I get clarity around those commitments in all of the value areas of my life, and then I make sure that they're on the calendar. Everything from the time that I spend in the morning, I'm big about meditating. I do my whole thought download. I do my journal. I walk my whole thought download through a process. Are these thoughts serving me? Are these thoughts allowing me to create the feelings, to create the actions, to create the results that I want in every aspect of my life and business? So having that time of faith and that specific time scheduled on my calendar is important. Having those important relationships from family and friends and business and coaching clients and whatever it is, having those on my calendar, it's very important that those are there. Today I did BNI one-to-ones via Zoom. I didn't even leave my house, but it's an important part. I've changed chapters. I'm meeting a whole bunch of new people, getting my business out in front of them, learning more about their business. That is part of my family and friends and relationships segment. It's also part of fitness that keeps me business fit and also a part of finance. So I make sure all of that is on my calendar. It's another one of my C words. And I don't mean to be redundant with alliteration and C's and F's and all the different things. You'd hope I'd have A's in there somewhere. And I do, action and accountability. But for today, we're focused on C's and F's for sure. But when it's on the calendar, that allows me to do the next really important thing along the journey of commitment, and that is have tracking and accountability. The reality of it is you can't measure what you don't track, and you can't be accountable to yourself or anyone else unless you have a way of consistently tracking it to see what is my level of commitment. How do I need to adjust my thoughts possibly around that level of commitment if I'm saying that I'm committed to something, but it's not on my calendar, and my actions aren't really supporting the words that are coming out of my mouth to say that I'm committed to something. So that tracking and accountability is important. I put everything in my calendar, and I will go back even a week later and write something in and then check the box for a couple of reasons. A, it makes me feel good. I can pat myself on the back. That's a big part of it. B, it gives me tracking and accountability at the end of the week, at the end of the month, and at the end of the year when I look back and say, did I hit my results? Did I hit my commitment? Did I achieve that goal? And potentially why or why not? Okay, why or why not? And again, actions are everything. Your calendar tells a story. Your calendar doesn't lie. It will truly tell you what's going on in your business, assuming that you're not putting untruthful things in your calendar. Hopefully you're not. But you're using that as a real tool to measure yourself, your accountability, and your commitment level, and then move yourself up the scale of where you need to be if you're not hitting and achieving and creating those results that you want in your business. And even in the beginning, creating those action steps that you want in your business that ultimately create those results. And then it's so important that as you do that tracking and accountability and you see that you're making progress, that's how you see that you're making progress toward the result that you want, toward achieving that end goal. Reward yourself. It can be whatever you want it to be. I have a goal. I keep little mini bottles of champagne in my refrigerator, and when I really rock a day in the evening, sometimes I will go and pour myself just a little tiny mini of champagne so that I can toast and cheer myself. There's something about champagne that feels celebratory to me, and I feel good about things, and it's just enough to say, dang girl, you rocked it, good for you, and now let's just keep on going to create other things. So you want to have some type of reward system. If you've ever traveled with me, I have a beautiful set of Brighton luggage that I purchased over the years, rewarding myself for things that I achieved in my business. I would set a goal, I would take the action steps and ultimately achieve that goal, and then that would be my reward for achieving that. It can be super small, it can be a big trip, it can be whatever you want it to be, excuse me. But the important thing is you are rewarding yourself and giving yourself that pat on the back that's important. All right, so that really is what I had to share on commitment. Those are the key components of commitment, all of those things that fit into it, starting with your definition of what does commitment mean to you. Second, what's the number one goal you want to achieve? What goal are you committed to achieving? What is your thoughts regarding possibility and probability around that goal? And then making sure that your thought is, or one of the thoughts is, I will figure out whatever it is that I have to do to achieve this goal. And then weighing in on how that thought feels, because that thought is truly commitment, okay? Not getting bogged down in the, oh, well, I'd love to achieve this goal, but I don't know how, knowing that you will figure it out. And then writing out what is the action and actions that have to take place in order to show that commitment and achieve that goal. Okay? And then it's really looking around, it's making that decision, it's deciding on the areas and the values in your life that you want to make those commitments around, and then getting very, very clear and having clarity on that, using your calendar, engaging that for tracking and accountability, and rewarding yourself in any way possible, the smallest thing to the biggest thing, when you honor that commitment and achieve that goal. Hey, if you're enjoying the training and you're learning from what I'm teaching you here in these videos, you've got to check out the Street Smart Wealth Academy. I would love to see you on the inside, learning, growing, and truly rocking out and creating that lifestyle business. Go to streetsmartwealthacademy.com and I'll see you on the inside.